Cool. Hello all. It is the 30th of November 2020 and today is the last day of my 60 challenge. Throughout November I have been doing 60 different variations of exercises per day. So 60 reps of something or 60 seconds of something. I did 60 seconds of mindfulness a few days ago, 60 seconds of plank, various exercises. The point, and I'll come on to why I've chosen fitness in a second, but what is Movember all about? So Movember is a charity that was set up in 2003 by two lads in Australia who decided to change the face of men's health. Now, they didn't know they were going to call it that at the time, but they wanted to do something to change what was happening around men's health. Why? Because men die 6 years earlier than women. That's statistics. Every 60 seconds, globally, a man takes their life. In the UK, 3 out of 4 of the suicides that occur happen by men. They wanted to do something in Australia, but to set something up to change the face of men's health. And so they decided to do something that was quite quirky, quite out there, and they decided to grow a Mo. And of course, November has now become Movember. And what they did was they wanted to just raise awareness around, at the time it was around, particularly around physical health for men, around prostate cancer and testicular cancer. As I said, men die 6 years earlier than they should because a lot of these cancers are undiagnosed, they're untreated. Why? Because there's a certain embarrassment about going to the doctors and talking about your testicles and talking about your prostate. So what they wanted to do was raise something very different, very unique, and say, well, actually, do you know what? I'm going to grow a Mo. I'm going to grow a Mo throughout the month. And for those so for the females out there, growing a Mo is quite itchy, it's quite annoying, and it doesn't look particularly cool, but ultimately it makes people smile. And that was the whole point of it. It was to do something different, but to allow men to get involved of all sizes, all shapes. It didn't matter who you were. As long as you grew a Mo, that was the main thing. And so when we think about fitness and we think about raising awareness and raising money, we often think about doing an exercise or climbing Mount Everest or something like that. Not taking that away from anybody, because that's a phenomenal amount. Running marathons, etc. But actually, the reality is, if you're physically a little bit unfit or you know, haven't been doing a lot of fitness, then actually some of that can be quite challenging, quite daunting. So what do we do for the people that still want to raise awareness but can't do that, might not be able to do that whole physical exercise? Well, they can grow a Mo. And that's what Movember was all about. It's changed afterwards. So 2010, it came over to the UK, and it was really big in the UK. And Movember globally changed its awareness around not just physical health, but talking about mental health, talking about suicide prevention, talking about mental health well-being, talking about depression, anxiety, PTSD, all these things that occur amongst men and women. Depression doesn't differentiate, it doesn't persecute who you are. Bad thoughts and challenging thoughts and dark thoughts leading up to suicide doesn't differentiate whether you're male or female. So actually, what do we need to do? We need to raise awareness so that it can be eradicated. Now, okay, that sounds like a really bold statement from me, but that's ultimately what my aim is. When we talk about mental health well-being, the reason that I've done Kiwis Wellbeing Wednesdays, my blogs and all this other stuff, is because I want to eradicate the stigma that goes with mental health, the fact that suicides are more predominant amongst men, the fact that globally every 60 seconds a man takes their life. These are things that we can all change and we can do something about. How do we do it? We do it together. So why have I chosen fitness? Well, fitness was one of the big things for me when I had my real dark days that got me through those real challenging times. And it's kept that feel-good factor about me. Because that's what fitness does. When you work out, when you do a little bit of exercise, it releases endorphins. It makes you feel good. So that's why throughout Movember I've been promoting physical health. Now, I've not been doing challenges that have been really out there, but I've tried to do challenges that I want everyone to get involved in. Because when we talk about physical health, it's not the necessity of, oh, I need to go to the gym, or I must do this, or I must do that, or I have to do this and I have to do that. Frankly, anyone that tells you you need to do a certain amount of exercise in a certain way, of course you need to do it safely, but ultimately what matters is that you're doing something. If you don't do 100 push-ups, who cares? If your chest doesn't touch the floor when you do push-ups, who cares? If you don't do a squat and you can't do as many as other people in the gym and lift as much or whatever it might be, who cares? What matters is that you've chosen yourself to go out and do something, chosen to do something physical, which is what Movember is all about. It's about raising awareness to try and do things that are going to make us feel good. So, today's challenge, my final challenge, was going to be burpees. And I'm going to put the caveat out there, it was going to be burpees. Unfortunately, as I said yesterday, I picked up an injury, which has been quite painful for the past sort of 4 or 5 days. And I'm not going to be able to do burpees, because if I do, quite frankly, I'm just going to prolong the injury that I've got. So physical exercise is always good, but do it within your means. And don't do something that's going to overstretch yourself. There's probably an analogy within that around mental health well-being. So I'm going to do knee raises, and I'm going to do 10 knee raises, 10 knee raises, then 10 shoulder presses, and then back to knee raises, back to shoulder presses. So my wife, who's recording this, is hopefully going to remind me of what I've done, because otherwise I'll forget. But yes, how many people have got live, honey? Has anyone popped up on who's live?
Two.
2 of you, thank you very much for watching and following. I'm going to crack on my exercises. Without further ado, here we go. Now, I'd just like to say, when I'm doing these exercises, I picked up a dumbbell, but you don't have to. You can pick up a tin of beans, just do it freestanding. You could use some resistance bands, so even just doing that, you're moving. You're getting movement done and in your body. And that's the main thing. So, what was I going to say? So there we go. Okay, so there we have it. 30 knee raises and 30 shoulder presses. Now, imagine you combine those 2 exercises, and let's say you added squats. So you did 10 squats, 10 knee raises, 10 shoulder presses with a tin of beans or whatever it might be. Then you took a rest for 30 seconds or 45 seconds, and you did it again. And you repeated that 5 times. That would be a good little workout. What it will do though is elevate your heart rate, make you feel good, release endorphins. And what that does, when we release endorphins, it makes us feel good. We feel good about ourselves. When we talk about suicide prevention, suicide doesn't happen overnight. It happens as a build-up of lots of different things. How we can reduce mental health awareness and the stigma around it is all of us together collectively doing something. Not saying it's that person's responsibility or it's that person's responsibility. We have to take choice about looking after each other. That is how we will break the stigma around mental health. And when we're talking about physical health, lads, please don't be embarrassed to check your testicles. Please don't be embarrassed if there's blood coming out of your stools for a period of time that is not normal. Go and see a doctor. Don't be embarrassed about these things. So, I want to thank everyone that's donated so far. I'm nearing my target of £150. So if anyone wants to donate a little bit more to get me over that little hill of 150, that'd be fantastic. I I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone, firstly that's donated, I've just said that, but also anyone that's been watching the videos and liked it and shared it and the positive comments that you've made. Thank you so much for all your support. If you've got any friends and family that are doing Movember, please support them, give them a shout out, say well done, because what they're doing is they're choosing to do something about men's health. They're choosing to do something about mental health well-being. They're choosing to do something in changing the face of men's health. And for me, those people that are out there, they are my Mo-bros, because they're doing something rather than doing nothing. So thank you so much to anyone that's doing Movember. I will see you again, probably on my Kiwis Wellbeing Wednesdays this week. Take care.